I'm Cool Fish, and that is Yuan, aka the Old Summer Palace, aka the palace that got ruined by the 8-Nation Allied Force. And today, I'm gonna take you on a tour in this bitch. And let's talk about why Chinese people shit everywhere. Let's get it.
I'm pretty sure you have seen Chinese people relieving themselves in public, in person or on videos, on dinner table, right outside a public bathroom, in front of the Louis Vuitton store. Motherfuckers ain't got no shame. And you have probably watched people making fun of them. Then some Chinese came out of nowhere talking about the impact of Cultural Revolution, which they believe should be responsible for such behavior. I've seen those too, and I think that's all bullshit. I want to cut those bullshit, but not before I give you a valid reason. You see, a lot of Chinese trying to blame the CCP for such a result, to alleviate the pressure they're feeling from foreigners mocking and belittling. They don't want foreigners to see their nation as a shithole because they don't want such bias to be applied to themselves. Yeah, it's easy to say, it's all their fault, the CCP sabotaged our manners, it's a mistake, instead of digging into our culture and tradition and admit this is just who we are. At the end of the day, from macro perspective, people choose the government they support and represent their benefits and beliefs the best. Even though it seems like the government can be doing whatever they want, their actions still gotta compromise to the will of the people they represent. So the political actions are somehow a reflection of most people's will. For this specific topic, which is why Chinese people shit everywhere, the reason I say it's not the politics to be blamed for is that it's not enough for Cultural Revolution glorifying the behavior of challenging our own manners to erase the shame of individuals defecating in public. Cultural Revolution started 60 years ago, and it only lasts 10 years, but we're still doing it. And we have always been doing it throughout the 3,000 years civilization. So let's cut that bullshit and get into my first point. Chinese people just don't feel that much shame of shitting anywhere. In order for a person to feel shameful of doing something, there's gotta be a moral principle around the environment that person's living indicates that certain behavior is unacceptable and there's consequences for such behavior, resulting in the person who's responsible for the behavior is punished, such as being isolated. As for don't shit in public, we don't have such moral principle in the countryside because first, the public area in the countryside is just nature. And second, nobody built public restroom in the middle of nowhere. So it's not a big fucking deal for country people to shit whenever they feel like, regardless the location. You're not expecting motherfuckers to run 30 plus miles just to find the proper location to take a shit, don't you? And let me remind you, China is a big ass fucking country. There's people gotta walk 4 hours of mountain road just to go to school. For your information, in 1954, we had 86% countryside population. Fast forward to 1993, we still had 78% countryside population. So it's safe to say, most Chinese people you see, they and their ancestors have been the country as motherfuckers for hundreds of generations. They are only the first or second generation to live in the city. China's urbanization is progressing very quickly on the surface, but most people are not adaptable and will bring many rural habits into the city. Motherfuckers just don't have the custom of finding a proper location when they're having an emergency. So that explains why Chinese people casually defecate in the middle of the street. They're having a hard time reaching the toilet, or at least their instincts are telling them the toilet is very hard to find. In this situation, social decency is not their top priority. But you're still confused and you're like, what about we have a sign telling you the public restroom is right there? You still choose to shit in the middle of the street. So here comes my second point. Most Chinese people are just uneducated, uncultured, ignorant piece of shit. They don't give a fuck about a sign. And I'm gonna explain it in the next video, so stay tuned.